Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec, and today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. The design team was given this sketch, so today I'm going to give you my take on it. And I'm going to be using products mostly from the Fancy Pants Good Old Days collection, but I also threw in that gingham paper, and that comes from Photoplay's Kringle collection. A Christmas collection actually, but what I'm trying to achieve here today is that restaurant look. But I don't have any restaurant or foodie themed products. So I'm going to show you how I do this when I don't have specifically themed products. I got all of these products at the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop, including some dies I'll be using. So I'll link up the shop as well as the products I'm using in the information box below. I did do some preparation in advance. I prepared a frame style foundation with 2 sheets of paper and I gutted one of them. I also trimmed down this white cardstock. That's going to go on top of the black cardstock, but I have to do a bit of work on it first. I trimmed and matted these 3 photos, and I'll put measurements for all of this on the screen. Here's the sketch. I'm going to be turning it on its side. And here are some of the papers I'll be using. And I just want to point out that when I do anything kind of foodie related, I find black cardstock, wood grain paper, and gingham a real winning combination. And when I don't have gingham paper, florals work as well. I'm going to continue preparing my foundation page, and on the sketch there are 3 squares that are kind of lined up in a border. They're like placed like diamonds, and mine are going to go on the vertical as opposed to the horizontal, and my squares measure 4¼ inch. You're going to notice I cut 3 more squares here. I'm thinking at this point, these ones are a bit smaller, I'm thinking I'm going to layer up my squares almost like layered tablecloths. However, I don't end up using them. I place them, I think they look nice, but I'm aware that I am going to have 2 big embellishment clusters, journaling, a title, and this entire foundation piece is going to be matted on 2 other papers. So I was worried that it was just going to be too much. I find it easy to go overboard at the beginning of a layout, and by the time everything comes together, it becomes too busy for my taste, for my liking. So I place my photos and the squares, and as you can see, I cut my title out in advance, and I used alt new dies. I showed them to you a minute ago. It's called the Tall Alpha die set, and I adhered them to wax paper, and I'll put those on my page a little bit later on. But what you see me doing now is drawing a T on this white cardstock, and the reason why I'm doing it, I'm making myself a guide to where to place these squares, and it's basically to place the first square. By drawing a T on the page, I'm able to line up that first square so that all corners match the T, and by doing that, I know that square is straight on the page. And once that's down, it's easy to adhere the other 2 squares. All I have to do is make sure the points facing left are of equal distance to the left-hand side of the page, and the same thing goes for the points from the top of the page and the bottom of the page. Once I have that down, I simply trim the paper that is hanging over, and I'm going to adhere all of this to that black cardstock, and my foundation page is prepared. You'll notice as well that my border is just a little off center towards the left, and that's because when I do my embellishing, I plan to have a larger embellishment cluster on the right hand side, so I just wanted to give myself a little bit more room there. Now I'm going to continue creating decorations. So I have this die, it's from Lawn Fawn, it's called Selfie Frame. I will link it up in the comments below. And what I'm going to do is eventually place my journaling in there. I also have another die, this one is new from Lawn Fawn. It says a little note. It's so friggin' cute. I absolutely love it. And what I plan to do with that is adhere it near my journaling. So you'll see me place that a little bit later on. Now I'm going to get out my embellishments. I basically have some ephemera from this Fancy Pants collection. But what you see me do right now is add my journaling to this little selfie frame. And I did it in advance with white gel pen on black cardstock. And that is another way of getting that restaurant feel to a page. White writing on black cardstock looks like a menu on a chalkboard. So I adhered it behind that wooden frame, and then I beefed up the wooden frame with a bit of cardstock that I adhered behind it. I plan to place that on foam adhesive later on. I also find that black cardstock with white writing paired with wood grain paper is especially nice for restaurant themed pages. So now I'm playing around with the ephemera pack. Again, I don't have anything restaurant themed here, so I'm going with general stuff. I do have that apple there, but I have flowers, which I find works well with a restaurant theme. I have that telephone dial there. It could represent making reservations at a restaurant. I'm looking for a little expression there. It says, "Kissed by the sun." I am in the tropics here, so the food, I guess, is local and kissed by the sun, one could say. Again, just going with some general type decorations. However, those checkered tablecloths as well as that menu definitely lend to that restaurant look. So I'm quite happy about that. Now what I'm doing, as you can see, I've sped up my film. I am adhering everything to the page more or less where I had placed it. You'll notice I'm adhering everything down, and at this point, and I don't realize it right now, I feel that the flowers on the top are just a little bit too hidden. So I end up having to go in at the end and add a few more, and that's just part of the creative process. Anyway, I'm layering things up. I just adhered that a little note expression to the side of my chalkboard, and I absolutely love that. I'm aware at this point that my flowers up top are more hidden than I want them, so when I place them at the bottom, I was sure to make them stick out a little bit more. I'm starting by adhering my title towards the bottom and working up. I prefer that. I have a lot of room on the side working up, but not towards the bottom. So I wanted to determine where the bottom of my title was and then worked my way up. I stopped the camera, continued with my title, and then I came back and I'm just looking for finishing touches. So I found an extra flower to put at the bottom. I put that little medallion in the top, and now I'm looking for something to put in that medallion. And I have these enamel shapes from Fancy Pants, so there are red hearts there. So I end up putting one at the top left, one over in that cluster in the right, and finally I replace my apostrophe in the word Ivans with a little tiny heart, and that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. So as you can see, by using general products to create a restaurant themed page, I used gingham, I used black cardstock, as well as wood grain paper. I created a chalkboard menu, all basic stuff. And with regards to the embellishments, I kind of went with basic stuff, florals, hearts, things like that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, as well as my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. And if you don't know, the Scrapbook Nerd Facebook group, it's called Scrapbook Nerd Friends Group. There are so many sketches there. There's an album with over 100 sketches. We have our own sketch artist, Melena Woodywiss. She's very talented, so be sure to check that out as well. And of course, the Scrapbook Nerd Online Shop. All of that is linked up below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.